Hi guys, I'm Dr. Sunil Sharma. Today's lecture about atrophic rhinitis, also called angina. This is chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation characterized by atrophy of nasal mucosa and nasal turbinate, leading to characteristic feature, that is mercical anosmia, roomy nasal cavity and greenish crest on examination. This is actually triad of classical symptom of atrophic rhinitis. This is roomy nasal cavity, greenish crest on nasal examination and feature, that is also called mercical anosmia. Because what is mercical? Because patient on doesn't have to smell about what is foul smelling, but others, neighbors or relative know this smell. This is very foul smelling. That's why they are away from the patients. So this is definition of atrophic rhinitis. It may also occur in nose, nasopharynx and pharynx and larynx also. Atrophic laryngitis, atrophic pharyngitis, same finding may also occur. This is actually primary or secondary type. If it is primary means there is unknown etiology. That's why it's also called idiopathic. It is primary, again two types. One is and that is type 1 and type 2. Type 1 primary having endarteritis, periarteritis and obliterative endarteritis, that is found about 80% of cases. And type 2 primary atrophic rhinitis having capillary dilatation, that is all capillaries are dilated in histopatho examination. So this is about 20% of the cases. And secondary, where secondary atrophic rhinitis is the causative agent is known. It may be found in syphilis, extensive surgeries, tuberculosis, leprosy, rhinoscleromatis or radiotherapy. These leading to atrophy of nasal mucosa or atrophy of nasal bones. It's nasal turbinate mainly. So this is secondary atrophic rhinitis. What is characteristic finding in pathology of atrophic rhinitis? There is replacement of columnar pseudostratified columnar epithelium into stratified squamous epithelium. There is flattening of columnar epithelium leading to this stratified squamous epithelium. There is atrophy of seromucinous glands, which lead to decreased secretions. Secretion decrease. There is obliterative endarteritis. It means there is decreased vascularity. And on CT examination, there will be small sinuses and widening of nasal cavity. There will be roomy nasal cavity with crust. So this is pathology. Now we will talk about clinical features, etiology, management. Clinical features, symptomatology. Clinical features. Already I told you there is merciful anosmia, merciful anosmia or fetor. There is nasal obstruction due to crusting. If we remove the crust, there will be epistaxis. There is on endoscopy, there will be roomy large nasal cavities, roomy large nasal cavities. There may be hoarseness of voice due to atrophic laryngitis. There may be soreness, sore throat, due to atrophic pharyngitis or maybe PND due to secretion going into the pharynx. So these are the classical feature of atrophic rhinitis. Now we will talk about etiology. As you know, primary atrophic rhinitis is unknown cause, is idiopathic. It may be multifactorial, like involvement of, you say, hereditary factor. In 30% of cases, there may be hereditary involvement, family to family involvement. 30% of cases, there may be racial factor. Racial factor is more common in Asian population, Asian and Chinese population, China, like India, Bangladesh, is racial factor. There may be infectious factor. Most common organism may found Klebsiella pogeni, maybe Coccobacillus, diphtheroids, E. coli, Proteus vulgaris, or some viral pathology may exist. These are the common pathogens. There may be endocrine factors. This disease 6 times more common in female than male. 6:1 ratio. Okay, and age group is 15 to 50 years of age. Sometimes it started puberty in female and ceases at menopause. So this is more common in female than male, 6 times more common than, and it's common in 15 to 50 years of the age. Now, fifth one is nutritional factor. There may be decreased vitamin A, vitamin D2 or calcium, iron. These also leading this disease. And there may be another factor, that is 6 is autoimmune or immunological factor. So there is, have seen some autoimmune which distracting the nasal cavity. There may increase of the IgM, immunoglobulin, respective to increase of the IgG or IgA level. There is decrease in IgM and the increase in IgM and decrease in IgG or IgA, secretory IgA. So this is about etiology. If you know secondary may be because of tuberculosis, syphilis, rhinoscleromatosis, extensive surgeries. Now we will talk about management of atrophic rhinitis. Now diagnosis is mainly clinical features. Clinical classic feature: featured roomy nasal cavity, assisted by nasal endoscopy. There is roomy cavity, greenish crust formation and atrophied dried mucosa or bone. So you may see this nasal or thinning of ETH mode and uncinate process. Uncinate process on endoscopy, or there is small sinuses. Small sinuses. So these clinical feature assisted nasal endoscopy, these are the finding, that is roomy cavity, greenish crest, atrophy of nasal mucosa, thinning of ethmoid bulla or ethmoid bone, or uncinate process thinning, and there may be small sinuses. So this is the kind of, and also assisted by CT scan, plain PNS. Same finding, there is maybe atrophied inferior or middle terminate, mainly inferior terminates. All terminates, but commonly inferior terminate, thinning of atrophied terminate. There is small sinuses, thinning of bulla, and uncinate process. I will add this CT scan video after this lecture and this video also. Thinning of bulla and uncinate processes, and there is thinning of or erosion of nasal walls, bony walls. So these are the common finding, and you may diagnose by clinical features. Okay. What are the investigation we require? Clinical feature, nasal endoscopy, CT scan. Now we will do blood investigation to rule out other pathologies. Like we will do blood analysis, CBC, BDARL or TPHA to rule out syphilis, Montauk's test, nasal biopsy for rule out tuberculosis. Okay, we do a smear test to rule out rhinoscleroma, or biopsy to rule out rhinoscleroma. We do complement fixation test or biopsy. So these are the common investigation for to rule out syphilis, tuberculosis, rhinoceros, history of extensive nasal surgeries. Now we will do management. Now treatment part. First is medical treatment. 80% of cases this is very helpful. Now what are the treatments are? First is alkaline nasal douching. This is very helpful, and 80% of cases resolved by this only treatment. 80% resolution by this treatment. You have to continue this treatment throughout the persistent symptom or throughout the life till 50 or more than that. Nasal douching, you may have hypertonic saline, commercially available, like Physiomel. This is in commercially available as a Physiomel. You may have normal saline nasal douching, You may have 25% glycerin glucose douching. 25% glycerin glucose douching. You may have camicetin antiogena solution using chemicitin antiogena solution. This is having chloromycetin, vitamin D2 and extradiol. So these three make the chemicitin antiogena solution, that is chloromycetin, vitamin D2 and extradiol. You may have special alkaline solution made by lukewarm water by adding in ratio is 2:1:1, that is sodium chloride to in ratio to sodium chloride, sodium biborate and sodium bicarbonate. So this solution is made by alkaline solution in lukewarm water by 2:1:1 ratio sodium chloride, sodium biborate and sodium bicarbonate. This is isotonic solution. Sodium biborate acts as an antiseptic and sodium bicarbonate as a crust removal solution. And now this is about alkaline nasal dose. Now we will have to do some potassium iodide solution, or you may say Mendel's nasal paint. This having sodium iodide or extradiol. Extradiol plus potassium iodide make Mendel's nasal paint. MCQ. You may have potassium iodide plain. You may use extradiol nasal spray. This is only used in type 1 primary atrophic rhinitis. This lead to dilatation of endarteritis, increased vascularity. So this is only used in endarteritis or periarteritis type 1 atrophic rhinitis, primary atrophic rhinitis. Extradiol nasal spray is not helpful in type 2 primary atrophic rhinitis. Okay. Now you may have systemic streptomycin. Systemic streptomycin therapy, or you may have vitamin D2 supplementation. So these are the common medical treatment. Now we will talk about surgical treatment. Surgical treatment. Surgical treatment. Aim of surgery aims are, if you narrow down the cavity, roomy nasal narrowing cavities, nasal cavity. Second, increase vascularity and increase nasal secretion. So these are narrowing cavities. Aims of surgery: you have to narrow down the cavity, you have to increase the vascularity, and you have to increase the nasal secretions for decreasing the crusting and nasal symptomatology. Now surgery is related to this. Narrowing the nasal cavity, you may have most common operation is Young's operation. In Young operation, so this is nose, this is nasal cavity. In Young operation, we are obstructing, completely closing the one nostril at a time. We just mucosally close this. We make the flap on lateral wall and this medial septal wall and close this in between. Just posterior base flap. And we also doing nowadays epithelial, the vestibular epithelial flap, anterior base flap. So we are double closing this anterior base flap and initially posterior nasal mucosal flap. So double closure of vestibule or nasal cavity. One is inside mucosal flap, posterior base flap and anterior base flap by the epithelium of vestibular skin. So this is Young's operation. Second one is modified Young operation. Modified Young operation. You are closing both nostrils but leaving 3 mm opening. You are closing this bilaterally at a time. You can do this modified Young operation bilaterally, but Young operation you have to operate unilaterally at a time. After 6 months you may do operate in opposite side in Young operation, but modified Young operation you may operate both sides. You have to operate both sides. So this is small opening and you are closing this. You may double layer closure or single layer closure or posteriorly flap based mucosal closure and anterior base epithelium. After completely closing you may cut it also. You are doing different type of modified Young's operation, but I prefer this mucosal flap and this steering put by 3 mm. I am putting 3 mm endotracheal tube or endotracheal 3 mm size infant endotracheal tube. I am putting bilaterally for 7 days. So this is that's how I am doing it. And another operation of also for narrowing is Lorentz-Slager operation. In Lorentz-Slager operation, you are fracturing this wall. In Lorentz-Slager operation, you are fracturing this lateral wall and shifting it medially. So this is called Lorentz-Slager operation. You may have Wilson's operation. Third is Wilson's operation. In Wilson's operation, you are deposing submucosal infiltration of Teflon paste. This submucosal infiltration of Teflon paste is called Wilson's operation. Lorentz-Slager operation, you are shifting the lateral wall medially by fracturing it. It's called that is Lorentz-Slager operation. Another thing you may do vestibuloplasty. Vestibuloplasty for narrowing down. In vestibuloplasty, what you can do? Just you have to elevate the nasal vestibule mucosa and put on the inflator plates. So this is called vestibuloplasty. So these are operations. Narrowing cavities operation are Young operation, modified Young operation, Lorentz-Slager operations, Wilson's operations, and submucosal infiltration of Teflon paste and vestibuloplasty. You may also infiltrate submucosally like fat, bones or cartilage. So these are narrowing cavity operations. For increased vascularity operation, you may do have sympathectomy. By blocking the stellate ganglia in the neck, upper neck, is increased for increased vascularity is called sympathectomy, or you may increase vascularity by antral mucosal transplantation in nasal cavity. You may transfer by antral endoscopically or this inferior enterostomy approach. you may transplant the maxillary sinus mucosa into the nasal cavity. So this is for increased vascular operation. For increased nasal secretion is you may transfer the parotid duct into maxillary sinus. For increased nasal secretion, you may transfer the parotid duct into maxillary sinus. This is called Whitmax operation. So these are the common surgeries. Most common is young operation, modified young operation. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, atrophic rhinitis. This is atrophic rhinitis. This side. Okay. Because of atrophic rhinitis, this patient has a mucormycosis. ऊपर लो. ये 4 4 Okay.